Yeah, I think for about half the change room we haven't won the Border Gavaskar, so it's kind of one of the last things to tick off, I think, for a lot of us. I also think, we've, almost every challenge that we've had thrown at us over the last few years, we've stepped up and done well. I think to do that for another year, another home summer, would kind of cement this rather than just being a 2 or 3 season thing. It's suddenly into a half generation thing. So yeah, we're all excited. We know India are right up there with one of the best teams in the world, so we're excited.
Back like when you became captain 3 years ago, there's a lot of talk about becoming captain now. It's one of those rare occasions when probably the 2 best bowlers in the world figured out head-to-head as captain.
Yeah, great to see. Should happen more. New Zealand series last year was good with Timmy Southey as captain as well. I don't think it really changes too much again, but it's one of those rare things. Looking forward to seeing from hopefully the change room how he goes about his work out there. But as a fan of fast bowling, it's always good to see.
And just another one, you saw what this Indian team can do, relatively unknown faces in their side 4 years ago. So, but there seem to be a makeshift top 3 and some new names on the side. So, as an opposition captain, how do you just lead the
Look, I think you always make plans for kind of a whole squad. I think with most Test teams, especially India, you've got a lot of depth. Most of us have played IPL and seen how many newcomers come in and kind of step up straight away. So, they're missing a couple of guys we're more familiar with, but we know whoever they pick is going to be. Well, they obviously think they're good enough for Test cricket. So, we've done a bit of prep. Some of the guys from the Indian squad were in the Aussie Ace series just over, recently. It's good to have someone like Scotty Boland and Buddha as well, who spent a bit of time there, so we can talk through some of those plans.
How nice is it just to have such a settled lineup with Nathan coming to Cameron? The last best was 8 months ago, and you just got one change.
Yeah, it's great. It's weird. It's basically been the same side for the last 2 or 3 years. So the week lead-in's very normal. It's all very relaxed. Everyone knows how they need to prepare. So it's pretty seamless. All the meetings, training, all those kind of things. We've done it heaps before with the same people. So it's just about kind of reaffirming what we do really well. But I think that's been one of the strengths of our team is not only the consistency, but how well everyone gets on and how much we love playing together.
Just in terms of benchmarks, it seems to be driven fairly about how many overs you bowl and if you bowl. Do you think you will bowl with this testing it, so what's his upper limit?
Yeah, I mean, never quite put an upper limit on anyone. He'll definitely bowl this test. It's definitely available to bowl. He's an all-rounder. I don't think he's, with the way kind of us full bowlers are set out, we never really budgeted all-rounder bowling, heaps. So I would imagine, a few spells each innings or something like that. But he's ready to go. He's been bowling really well this week. His body's great. Best it's been for a while. So he's had a really good prep lead in. So don't have an answer, but he's ready to go and happy to bowl as much as we need.
That first summer in a long time without Davey up the top, what sort of dynamic are you wanting to see between Usman and Nathan, the way that they impose pressure on the bowlers, I guess how that helps and complements the rest of the batting orders?
Yeah, Davey's very hard to replace in many ways. But I think, the most important thing for someone like Nath who's coming in is just to play his own game. He doesn't need to strike it, 80 like Davey did if that's not his game. So for them, I'd love to see them bring the best out in each other. They've played a little bit and batted a bit together for Queensland. I think for both of them it's about bringing what they bring to the table. For Uzi it's those long innings, getting the bowlers to come back again. And I think Nate's pretty similar in that regard.
And how important was it for you, obviously with a lot of discussion of the batting order through the year, to have Trav and Mitch in those 5 and 6 positions where they are kind of they do change the momentum of the game?
Yeah, from my point of view, really important. And I'll throw Alex Carey in there at 7 as well. It's a pretty scary 5, 6, 7, I think. If they come in and the bowlers already have plenty of overs into them that's a pretty scary proposition. And similarly, we've seen some counter punches where we've been 2 or 3 down, 4 down for not many, and Marshy's pulled out 100 or Hetty's pulled out 100 and changed the dynamics pretty quickly. So I really like kind of how that middle order's been structured the last couple of years.
Pat, do you pick up any intel on your own batters in the neck without giving any secrets away? I'm interested in what you're seeing from Steve Smith and from Alex Carey, because we're hearing that they're in a good place at the start.
Yeah, I think first of all, say Alex Carey's played a lot for South Australia this year and has been brilliant. Even on that UK ODI tour, it's different formats, but he was really impressive. So he seems in a really good place. Obviously, the last Test match we played, he was man of the match, won that for us. 90 odd, probably should have been 100, not out. And Smitty, I know every summer the conversations around his hands and whether he's found them or not. I can report they've made their way to Perth, his hands, which is always good. But I bowled a bit at him over the last few weeks. He looked really good in the ODIs. We had a couple of good centre wickets out at New South Wales last week. And, yeah, he seems really settled. He's hit 1 million balls like he does. But he looks really content with where his game's at. So expecting a big summer.
Can't get him out.
Or even if you do, it's not out. So.
How do you see the significance of the Border Gavaskar Trophy? Do you see that in contemporary cricket it is probably the most competitive test series?
Yeah, I think it's probably been the most closely fought. Obviously, the Ashes is got a rich history and it's really well watched as well. But I think the Border Gavaskar, it's been very tight every series. That I've kind of seen in recent times. I think both teams play quite similarly at times. There's some fast bowlers over here in Australia. So it's big. Now having 5 Test match series for the first time adds that little bit extra. It gets really attritional, kind of history would suggest as well. So, yeah, it's a big one. Yeah. Yeah, love playing alongside Nitish, for Sunrisers. Great young guy starting out his professional career, this season, really. So, really impressed, how he went about his work last year. He didn't bowl as much as, he potentially could have. But, yeah, really impressed with what we saw. Looks like he can swing the ball a little bit. But, yeah, great young kid. Good question. Don't know really. I'd say, maybe a summer or so. So maybe 10 Test matches or so. I think till you're fully comfortable, but I don't think I'd particularly change too much over those 10 Test matches. Your intuition gets a little bit stronger, but even when I was really new to it, obviously got wonderful, teammates and staff who are helping you out. So you never really feel like you're out there alone. No, I think the question is always just are you bowling too much or not enough? That's always the question, which, again, gut feel, speak to some other people out there, kind of come up with a decision.
Just on your personal commentary about the series, I've heard you say in the past you might come being a bit underdone going into a long series. Do you sufficiently underdone?
I do. I feel great. I couldn't have asked for a better lead-in. So hopefully it translates into a good summer. But I've been really lucky to have 4 or 5 months off to build up, get strong. Played some white ball cricket for New South Wales and Australia, and it's no real hiccups. So I feel as strong and as fresh and as fit as I have for a long time. So sufficiently underdone.
Just on that, how did you reflect on some of the commentary around the rest of you guys for the white ball series?
Yeah, look, I think it's inevitable, but this summer in particular, kind of Perth ODI, 48 hours after playing in Adelaide. We just thought it was a bit kind of high risk for our players to go there and then fly back to Sydney and then fly back here a few days later. So, some people might disagree. I think it's one of those ones that you might not necessarily see the benefits of it right away. But obviously we've got 5 tests, then into Sri Lanka and lots of other cricket. So it might not be till a few months later that you see those extra 4 days of travel kind of pay dividends. Looks good. Looks really even coverage of grass. It always looks really good here. So not too sure what to make of it. Been a bit more rain about than they perhaps thought. So it's kind of been on and off covers, but the sun's out there now baking it. So see how we go tomorrow. But looks pretty good.
Do you have any
Yeah, I do.
Till that IPL option in between will be a distraction to you, not only to you, that for Team India also will then be a distraction. And Manas is trying to impress you a lot, with his bowling. So what's on that? Yeah,
I think he's in the auction, Manas. I think firstly on the auction, look, I don't think so. Dan's obviously flown over there, but he's been here for the whole prep. We've done all our meetings, done all the chats, and obviously he'll be watching and be keeping an eye on it anyway. So for the players, I don't think so. Most of the guys have been in auctions before. The reality is you can't really do anything. You're sitting back and seeing if you get selected or not. I think how you go in the next 2 days doesn't make any difference. So it's not a distraction as far as I can see it. Second part of the question, what was it again? Manas. Yes, he's always trying to impress with the ball, which is great. He loves bowling. He's one of those guys, as we know, always wants to be involved. Which is great. You wish you had 11 of those guys in a team. He's bowled some handy overs for Queensland. Obviously got leg spin, bowled a bit of off spin in the past, and then this year it's been on to pace bowling. I'm sure he'll get the ball at some stage, and he's been bowling quite a few bounces as well. So that's maybe something we'll turn to at some point as well.
A couple more here. Let's go here.
Pat, as an Aussie not winning the Border Gavaskar Trophy for the last 10 years, does it add a bit more pressure to the team, especially the senior guys in the team?
I'm not sure if it's pressure. You always feel pressure playing at home. You want to do well. Us as Aussies expect to do really well here at home. So we know they're a really strong side. And a lot of us, were part of those most recent 2 or 3 series. So, it's a big series. Kind of not looking too far in the past. It's more, every summer, whoever we're playing against, we want to do well.
You mentioned before that the benefits of having the experience that you have in the team, that you sort of know when you come into camp exactly what's going on. But I suppose being an older team and you come into a big series like this where there's a lot on the line, is there that pressure of having to perform and having to win to make sure you sort of can stay together as a team? Because I suppose there's always that look to regenerate as well.
I think if you're early on in your career, there's pressure to try and assert yourself and, earn your spot in the side. And once you're in the side, there's always that pressure to hold on to it or, take your game to the next level. It's a test match. There's millions of people watching. There's always pressure. So, we always talk about, trying to find when you are at your best and trying to place yourself as closely to that as possible. And that's what experience brings. For the team, hopefully everyone's looking back on their experiences positively. You've learned a lot throughout your career and you're kind of concentrating on, what makes you a good player as opposed to thinking about if it doesn't go right.
A couple of days ago in the build-up, you saw being challenged some everything. There was a huge build-up in Hindi, in Punjabi, Virat and stuff. So I was back home and like, whoa, they're going all in to cater not only to the Asian population here, even to the television audience back home. What is the reaction in you and Australian players? How did you guys react? Seeing all that,
the different languages and stuff?
In Australian newspapers.
I haven't seen the newspapers, to be honest. I know they obviously do commentary in different languages, which is great. I mean, the more people that watch cricket, the better for me. So however we can cater that, that's great. But, it seems like a lot of the broadcasters are leaning in, which is amazing. I think the broadcasters here in Australia do an amazing job. You see the clear images and all those kind of stuff. So more people watching, the better.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.